But he is busy with his father and mother. His father is getting operation. And he is here, but he cooks for them. He takes care of them. He cooks for their parents, and then he takes care because he is alone there.
Tell him we miss him. Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gorantai, 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 Jaya Gorantai. Jaya Prabhupāda, 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 Jaya Prabhupāda. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrajaka Charyasto Tarasata Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupāda Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadādhar Shivas Arigaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinatha Shyaama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Ki Jai, Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Jamuna Mai Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Śrīla Prabhupāda. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today, on this auspicious occasion of Shri Chaitra Purnima, there are many auspicious activities that occurred, and we'll be hearing some of the glories of Krishna's and Balaram's and Lord Chaitanya's and Lord Nityananda's and all of their associates' pastimes, all crunched together in 1 hour as best we can do. So we've chosen a sloka concentrating on Balaram Rasayatra, which will take place tonight in Sri Ramagat. Text 18, Canto 10, Chapter 65. Purna Chandra Kalamristhe Komudi Gandhavayuna Yamun Opavane Reme Sevite Striganar Vrithāt Purna Chandra Kalamriste Komudi Gandhavayuna Yamun Opavane Reme Sevite Striganar Vrithāt Purna Chandra Kalamriste Komudi Gandhavayuna Yamun Opavane Reme Sevite Striganar Vrithāt
Purna Chandra Kalamriste Komudi Gandhavayuna Yamuno Pavane Reme Sevite Striganar Komudi Gandhavayuna
Matajis? Purna, full. Chandra, of the moon. Kala, by the rays. Mriste, bathed. Komudi, of lotus flowers that open in the moonlight. Gandha, bearing the fragrance. Vayuna, by the wind. Jamuna, of the Jamuna river. Upavane, in a garden. Reme, he enjoyed. Sevite, served. Stri, women. Ganai, by many. Vritaha, accompanied. Translation. In the company of numerous women, Lord Balaram enjoyed in a garden by the Jamuna river. This garden was bathed in the rays of the full moon and caressed by breezes bearing the fragrance of night-blooming lotuses. Repeat together. In the company of numerous women, Lord Balaram enjoyed in a garden by the Jamuna river. This garden was bathed in the rays of the full moon and caressed by breezes bearing the fragrance of night-blooming lotuses. Purport. Śrīla Vishwanath Chakravarti expressed times took place in a small forest alongside the Jamuna, a place known as Sri Rama Ghat, which is far from the site of Sri Krishna's rasa dance. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svatadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Lalita Tam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Devam Kṛṣṇa Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitanscha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Kṛṣṇa Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharine Jai Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadādhar Shivas Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Kṛṣṇa 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So on this beautiful Chaitra Purnima, many auspicious activities occurred. First of all, we have two great associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who appeared on this day, and that was Sri Bansi Vada Ananda Thakur. He was the son of Sri Madhava Das, and when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned from Puri to see his mother and to bathe in the Ganga, he stayed for a few days in the home of Sri Madhava Das in Kulia. And at that time, Sri Bansi Vada Ananda was born. In the Gauraganadesh Deepika, it's explained that he is the incarnation of Krishna's flute. And after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left to continue his pastimes, when he grew up, he served Srimati Vishnu Priya. And they both wanted to give up their lives out of separation from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Mahaprabhu, he manifested himself before them, and instead he told them to worship his form in the deity. And that is the form of Sri Dhameshwar. After Vishnu Priya left this world, Sri Bansivadan brought that deity back to Kulia. On the bottom of the deity, his name is engraved, and the worship is still going on there in Navadvip. We also have another great acharya in our line, Sri Shamananda Prabhu. He appeared in the family of milkmen, cowherds, and from a very early age, he was very attached to the pastimes, hearing the pastimes of Shri Shri Gaur Nitai. Most of the associates had already left this world in Utkal, in Orissa. But seeing his inclination to spiritual life, his father encouraged him to take Diksha. He chose to take Diksha from Sri Hridayananda Chaitanya, who was the disciple of Gauridas Pandit. Gauridas Pandit lived in Kelna, Amrita Kelna, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu personally gave them deities, gave Gauridas Pandit deities that were non-different from themselves. And the worship was continued by Hridayananda Chaitanya, his disciple. So the parents of Shamananda Prabhu, they had lost their sons and daughters, and when he was born, because they were suffering from the loss of their children, they named him Dukhi, which means unhappy, hoping that no one would give any more trouble to the family. So Dukhi, when he took Diksha, he was given the name Krishna Das, and he was sent by his Guru Maharaj here to Vrindavan to study the Shastras under Jiva Goswami. At the same time, Srinivasacharya and Narottam Das Thakur came here. So they were all studying together under Jiva Goswami. And Shyamananda, at that time called Dukhi Krishna Das, he was given a special service by Jiva Goswami to sweep the area of Seva Kunj, because now the Radha Damodar temple, the Shyamasundar temple, they're very small with a lot of houses and congestion all around. But at that time, the whole area was a beautiful garden of Seva Kunj, where the Rasa Leela occasionally takes place. Prabhupada explained that it does not take place there every night. So he would sweep there, and there are many ankle bell stories. We won't go into them in detail. But he found an ankle bell belonging to Srimati Radharani. The mark of that ankle bell created a tilak on his forehead. And when Jiva Goswami understood the blessings that he had received from Srimati Radharani, he gave him the name Shama Ananda, one who gives pleasure to Srimati Radharani. So he, after being sent for the first book distribution to Bengal, Jiva Goswami, he sent his 3 disciples, students, Srinivasacharya, Narottam Das, and Shyamananda. The books were stolen along the way, but Shyamananda continued to go to the ashram of his Guru Maharaj, and he served him there, and his Guru Maharaj ordered him that now the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mostly have disappeared in Utkal, so you go there and start this preaching even without the books. So he went there, and by his powerful preaching, again, the whole land of Utkal became immersed in love of God in the footsteps of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. He established temples, many disciples he made. Foremost amongst them was Sri Rasikananda. And even to this day, for instance, today is also the celebration of the taking of sannyas by our beloved godbrother, Sri Gaur Govinda Swami. So he also was born in a family of Shamanandi Vaishnavas. So this culture of Shamanandi, particular type of kirtan, dress, tilak, very prominent in Utkal, and carried on even to this day. So we have those 2 great acharyas or devotees who were born on this day. We also have the Basant Rasa of Sri Kṛṣṇa. Basant Rasa, Basant is springtime. For instance, here we celebrate Basant Panchami, which is the 5th day of the bright moon in the month of Magh. It's a cold time then, but when Basant Panchami comes, it means spring is just coming up, because it takes 40 days for a season to fructify. So from that day, from Basant Panchami onwards, the weather becomes very pleasant. And now we see, for instance, we had a wonderful rain last night, and all of the flowers, the fragrance was so intoxicating. So this is the beautiful springtime, beginning from that Basant Panchami. So Kṛṣṇa also, when after the gopis had performed the Katyayani Vrat the next year, when he was just 8 years old, and his Rasa Leela pastimes with his beloveds. And that was begun in Kartik. So they had their Rasa Leela. There are 2 very beautiful Purnimas in the autumn season, and then going through to winter. And then in the springtime, when it became very pleasant again, he then had his Rasa Leela at the Govardhan area, the Rasa Stali there. And the Gandharvas, all of the demigods, they came to watch this Rasa Leela, and they continued this Leela up until Holi time, from Basant Panchami up to Holi. And then Holi was the time when Shankachura was killed. And normally Kṛṣṇa would have his pastimes without Balaram present. But during Holi, we know that all of the rules and regulations fly out the window. So during that holy season, on Purnima, Kṛṣṇa, Balaram, all the gopis, they enjoyed together the holy pastimes. Kṛṣṇa has his beloveds, Balaram has his beloveds. But they were all enjoying holy pastimes together on that night. Another Purnima, the Falgun Purnima. And this pastime is that Kṛṣṇa killed Shankachura on that night. So then coming up after Falgun comes this beautiful spring season. And now we have the Chaitra Purnima. So on this Chaitra Purnima, Kṛṣṇa enjoys his Basant Rasa in Govardhan. And another wonderful pastime is, because chronologically things are going along, but they don't go on chronologically in the Srimad Bhagavatam. They go on according to rasa. And then Śrīla Jiva Goswami, he took all of the pastimes described by Sukadeva Goswami, and he put them according to the tattva, according to chronology. So also on this night of Chaitra Purnima, it was the night that Kṛṣṇa, because of the beautiful season, he was enjoying rasa. He wanted to enjoy rasa with his beloveds. And he was in a beautiful portion of Vrindavan forest. And along comes Aristasura. So Kṛṣṇa was obligated to protect the Brajavasis by killing Aristasura on this day. And then in the evening, nighttime, he wanted to enjoy with the gopis, beautiful Purnima night. The gopis refused to dance with him because he had killed a male cow. He had to go and bathe in all of the places of pilgrimage before they would associate with him again. So in that place where Kṛṣṇa killed Aristasura, with his hooves, he had dug up a big area on the western side. And Kṛṣṇa, at the very place where he was standing, he described to the gopis that I'm not going to waste my time going to all the holy places. I'll bring them all here. And with his heel, he dug an indentation and he invited all the holy waters to come into his pond, which is called Shamakund. So after they all appeared personally, entered into his pond, he very arrogantly invited Radharani to also come and bathe in the pond. And naturally Radharani refused because his pond had been contaminated by him bathing there. So they said they would make their own pond. And at the place where Aristasura had dug up the mud with his hooves, they began with their kankan, with their bangles, to dig a very nice kund. And they planned to bring the water from Manasi Ganga with billions of water pots. But Kṛṣṇa had a different plan. He called the personification of all the holy places to appeal to Radharani to please allow us to fill your kund. That would be the perfection of our lives, because we know how dear you are to Sri Kṛṣṇa, how he even serves your lotus feet. So, being very merciful, Srimati Radharani agreed, and in that way all the waters from Shamakund broke the barriers and entered into Srimati Radharani's Radhakund. So according to the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, this is the night of Chaitra Purnima, when Aristasura was killed by Kṛṣṇa and when Radhakund and Shamakund appeared. Although locally, by tradition, it's observed on Bahulastami in Kartik. So now we come to the major portion of our discussion today, and that is Lord Balaram's pastimes in Vrindavan. We know, going back a little bit in history, the relationship by birth of Kṛṣṇa and Balaram. Balaram is a very unusual personality. He's actually the son of Devaki. though he was transferred into the womb of Rohini. That means he had two mothers. And not only that, but he accepted Mother Yasoda as his mother. He had three mothers. The origin is that Maharaj Devamida, who was in charge of all the suras here, this whole area of Surasen, he had two sons, Surasen and Parjanya, from two different wives, one being a Kshatriya, one being a Vaishya. So Surasen remained in Mathura and ruled as a Kshatriya. Parjanya Maharaj came to Braj, and he was the king of all the cowherds. So Parjanya Maharaj had 5 sons. Surasen, his son was Vasudeva. So they have a very close relationship, just like brothers, Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva. And it was for this reason, when Kamsa was antagonizing, killing the children of Vasudeva and Devaki, Vasudeva had his 2 sons, Balaram and Kṛṣṇa, hide in the home of his brother Nanda Maharaj. And they grew up here in Vrindavan. And they grew up as if they were Mother Yasoda's and Nanda Maharaj's 2 children. That's why in Nandagaon you'll see they're exactly the same on the altar. They were accepted as 2 brothers. Although the mothers were, Devaki also was the mother of both of them, Rohini then, and then Kṛṣṇa also having 2 mothers, Devaki and Yashoda. So they grew up together, they were inseparable. They left Vrindavan together to go to Mathura to kill Kamsa and his brothers. Then they had to kill so many other demons. Then Kṛṣṇa arranged that Jarasandha, who had been antagonizing the Mathuravasis 17 times, on the 8th time he arranged to transport all of the Mathuravasis to the fortress of Dwarka in the middle of the ocean, middle of the sea. So then the Mathuravasis, they became Dwarkavasis, and Kṛṣṇa and Balaram went to live there in Dwarka with their devotees. Now, Balaram, he was in charge of security there in Dwarka. And Kṛṣṇa, his first wife, Rukmini, she gave birth to Pradyumna. While Pradyumna was just born, a few days old, he was stolen from the maternity room. No one knew where he was. And for 16 years, they couldn't find him. He was kidnapped. Finally, on his 16th year, he returned. And he returned with his consort, Rati. And there was going to be a big marriage, a big celebration, because Rukmini's son had come back. They were going to have a marriage. They were going to invite everyone. And naturally, they wanted to invite all the Brijbasis because Balaram and Kṛṣṇa's family members. So it was the first time that they were going to have a big celebration. So Balaram and Kṛṣṇa always wanted to return to Braja. But they couldn't, because they feared that if they went to Braja, then the demons would attack Braja. So therefore they had to even cut off their affectionate relations with the Brijbasis so that the demons would not harm the Brijbasis and the cows. But Balaram, at this time, he comes to Kṛṣṇa, crying, tears flowing from his eyes, that how can we ignore the Brijbasis at this time? Don't you ever think of returning? And Kṛṣṇa and Balaram, they were in a solitary place. They were crying and hugging each other, how much they want to go back to Braj. So Kṛṣṇa explained to Balaram that you can go, but the Yadus will not allow me to leave. And that was true, because Vasudeva and Devaki, they saw how Kṛṣṇa responded to loving relationships. And they knew the strength of Nanda and Yashoda's love for Kṛṣṇa. And they understood that if they allowed Kṛṣṇa to go back to Braja, he would never come back to Dwarka, because the love of the Brijbasis is so much stronger than the love of the Dwarkavasis in Aishvarya Bhav. So when Kṛṣṇa and Balaram went to request, can we go now just for a short visit? They said, Balaram can go, but Kṛṣṇa cannot go now. They kept him back. Rohini, she convinced them that at least let Balaram go. So Kṛṣṇa gave Balaram some very secret instructions how he should go to Braj. He said, you go completely alone. No one knows, incognito. You take the dress of the local cowherd men, so no one knows even that you're Balaram. On a single chariot you go. Here are gifts for everyone. He gave gifts for all his mother, his father, his friends, everyone. Kept them on the chariot. Balaram went all alone on the road. No one recognized him. When he got to the outskirts of Braja, in a little cottage, he changed his clothes into the clothes that the Brijbasis wear here, as cowherdsmen. And then he entered. Now, when you come to a place, Braj is so big, he's coming from the western side there. So the first living entities who saw him were the birds, the animals. When they saw him, they all started to rejoice. Then the people saw him, they all came running to him. Why have you stayed away for so long? And they thought, Kṛṣṇa and Balaram, they never saw them separate. They thought Kṛṣṇa must have come along with him. And when they saw that Kṛṣṇa wasn't there, they were very disappointed. So Balaram's other name is Shankarshan, very attractive. He attracts. He combines and attracts. So seeing Balaram, they all felt that Kṛṣṇa was right along with him, and they felt satisfied. So they brought Balaram finally to the home of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. Yashoda hadn't been cooking all this time. What was the use of cooking if she couldn't cook for Kṛṣṇa? But as soon as she heard that Balaram had come, she wanted to make butter. She was running back and forth, cleaning the kitchen, running out to see if Balaram had come yet, all in the mood of ecstatic love to receive Balaram again. When Balaram came to their home, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda put him on their laps and bathed him with their tears. Mother Yashoda bathed him with her milk, just as if he were a little child again, although he was a grown married man with children. So one by one, Balaram, he's Balabhadra. He does everything very gently, very properly, as opposed to Kṛṣṇa, who's very chanchal and no one quite knows what he's going to do. So Balaram, he greeted everyone exactly according to proper etiquette. He embraced his friends, he joked with them, he offered his respects to all of his elders, he gave blessings to all the children, and everyone was fully satisfied. They fed him, he rested. The gopis weren't there though. So on the third day of his arrival, he went to find the gopis because he had messages for the gopis from Kṛṣṇa. And they were in a solitary place, disheveled, not caring for themselves, head uncovered. And when they saw Balaram come, they started to laugh in a kind of madness. That, oh, you've come? And where is that Kṛṣṇa? You didn't bring him with you? You came and he didn't have the heart to come to be with us also? So naturally they were chastising him. Why you didn't bring Kṛṣṇa? Kṛṣṇa's so hard-hearted. We gave everything to him. Still he hasn't come back. So Nanda Maharaj had asked Balaram at that time, how many more demons are there to kill? And Balaram described that, well, we still have to kill Jarasandha, we still have to kill Shishupal, we still have to kill Dantavakra. So it was quite early in the pastimes that Balaram came back to Braj. So at that time, Balaram, now having met with the gopis, he began to give all of the individual messages. Some were conciliatory, some were describing his prowess, some were begging for their forgiveness. And in that way, each of the gopis were satisfied with the different messages that were sent by Kṛṣṇa. But then the gopis said something very important to Balaram. They said, you know, we had the great fortune of being completely attracted to Kṛṣṇa and associating with him. And on the night of Holi, you also have your beloveds who you enjoyed with. But there were young gopis. They were too young to take part in the Rasa Leela pastimes. So we request you, now that you have come back to Vrindavan, that you marry your beloveds, and you also give these young gopis an opportunity to enjoy with you. So Balaram, he said, well, I would have to ask permission from Kṛṣṇa, and Kṛṣṇa's not here now, so I wouldn't be able to do it now. But in order to satisfy the gopis, he accepted their wish that he enjoy with his beloveds, and he also give the younger gopis an opportunity to become his beloveds as well. So for 2 months, the months of Madhu and the months of Madhav, which now we call Chaitra and Vaishak. Chaitra is a very pleasant time. If you come early in the morning, late at night, stand under the tamal tree, you'll fall down by intoxication of the beauty of the scent of the flowers. All of the flowers are sending their scents out at this time, in this springtime. So Balaram, he took his beloveds to a very far away upavan, or garden. Upavan is one section of the 12 vans. There are many upavans, 12 forests of Vrindavan. This upavan is called Sri Ramagata. It's past Shergar, it's north of Bandiravan, and it's a bit of a distance from the Jamuna River. But it's a very beautiful forest, full of old kadamba trees, bandira trees, the fig trees. Beautiful, beautiful place for enjoying. So Balaram took his gopis along with the younger gopis, and there, by Gandharva rite, he married them secretly, because Gandharva rite, you don't have to take anyone's permission. And he enjoyed every night with them for the next 2 months, starting tonight. And their enjoyment was so wonderful that every night was completely different. Every night they had forgotten their enjoyments from the nights before. It was as if completely ever fresh. And this went on for the 2 months, and those 2 months were just like one night for them. They were enjoying so much. So all of the demigods, as usual, the devotees love to hear the pastimes of Sri Kṛṣṇa, and the demigods, they have the opportunity, they get to go in their airplanes and watch the pastimes. So the demigods were watching from above, they were appreciating Balaram's kindness, his beauty, the beauty of all the gopis. And one of the demigods, Varuna, in charge of the waters and the oceans, he decided to send his beautiful daughter, Varuni, for Balaram's pleasure. So Varuni, she is the deity in charge of a very special essence. When you take honey and you distill it, it becomes an intoxicating liquor, which is called Varuni. So that Varuni, because it was springtime, all the flowers were blooming, all of the nectar was oozing. So this Varuni was oozing from the hollows of the trees, and it gave a beautiful intoxicating aroma in this forest of Shriramagat. So Varuni appeared, and she told Balaram that my father has sent me, and here you please enjoy this Varuni beverage with your beloveds. So they all drank that beverage together, and it increased their pleasure very much. They were wandering in the forest, and after dancing and enjoying for a long time, Balaram wanted to bathe. Because Balaram, there are many different categories of lovers, and Balaram is compared to an elephant. So elephant enjoys with many she-elephants at one time, especially in the waters. So he wanted the Jamuna to come to him so he could bathe with all of his beloveds. And he called the Jamuna. Now Jamuna, we know, is very mildly flowing to the ocean. Jamuna is also called, Balaram called her many names. And in the Bhagavatam, she also has many names. One of them is Arnava Vadu. Arnava Vadu means the wife of the ocean. Sagara, the Sagara Angana, also the wife of the ocean. Now the rivers are called wives of the ocean because they flow to their husband, the ocean. But Balaram, being now in a slightly intoxicated condition and calling for the Jamuna, who was a little distance away, she saw that he was intoxicated, and being the wife of the ocean, also it's explained that we know that Kṛṣṇa married Kalindi, who is the Jamuna river personified. So the Jamuna river flowing is considered to be a shadow of that Kalindi who married Kṛṣṇa. So she has many different names, many different services to perform. So this Chaya of Kalindi, the Jamuna river, she decided not to listen to Balaram because he was intoxicated, Mata. He was fully intoxicated. She didn't know what was going to happen if she came nearby. So he got angry, and he started calling her names. You Papi, you Kami Charini, means you just go wherever you want by your own desires. And he was insulting her and threatening her that either you come to me so I can bathe in your waters, or he called his plow, or I will take the tip of my plow and force you to come by breaking you up into many streams. So then Kalindi, she came before Balaram, and she offered a beautiful prayer to Balaram to appease him. That Rama Rama Mahabaho, oh powerful armed Rama, pleasure-giving Rama. She said, Na jane tava vikraman. I didn't understand your prowess. I didn't understand how powerful you actually are. Then she says, Yasya eka angsena vidrita. She was trying to flatter him. She said, with just one little portion of you in the form of Shesha, you are able to sustain this earth and all the planets. Jagati, Jagatapati. That you're sustaining this earth, you're sustaining the entire universe just on the hoods as Shesha. So when she offered this beautiful prayer to Balaram, he became pacified, and she bowed at his feet, and he swam in her with all of his beloveds. And then after swimming, naturally you want to change your clothes. So we know that from Balaram all the expansions come. The first Chaturvyuha, Pradumna, Aniruddha, Shankarshan, and Vasudeva, correct? Yes. Then there's a second expansion, the second Vyuha. So devotees once asked Prabhupada that, how is it that Balaram, he expands once as Shankarshan, then he expands again as Shankarshan, and Avajananti Mamudha. that you don't understand when the Supreme Lord appears. You can't try to understand him with your limited intelligence. Another example is, they ask the devotees, how is it that Kṛṣṇa, he lives in Nandagan, he goes every day to Govardhan in the day, he goes at night to here to Govindastali, Rasastali for his Rasa dance. These distances are so far. How do he and his associates travel so far in one day? And again, avajananti mamuna manusim tanumashrita, that with your brain substance, don't be a rascal. Don't try to understand Kṛṣṇa with your limited intelligence. Kṛṣṇa and his associates can do anything. They're not bound. And he gave the example of an ant. If an ant goes from here to here, for him it's 300 miles. It takes him so long. But for us it's one step. So we cannot understand Balaram's pastimes, Kṛṣṇa's pastimes, or the pastimes of his associates. So Balaram, in that manner, without us being able to fully understand, and we try to understand the pastimes of the Lord by hearing and chanting them, Balaram enjoyed like this for 2 months with his beloveds, and he assured the gopis and all the associates of Vrindavan that I will return to Dwarka, and I promise you, when all of the demons have been destroyed by Krishna's powerful arms with my assistance, we will both return to Vrindavan and we'll never leave again. So this was Balaram's assurance to the devotees that I have come, you see, I have come, and I promise you. Now, Krishna's messages were to the gopis, I have a few more demons to kill. It might take me 7 or 8 more days. You just be patient. I promised you. I sent Uddhava. He also promised you. Now, Uddhava, he refused to come back. He said, I promised them that you're coming back, Kṛṣṇa. Now, don't send me with any messages, because they'll call me a liar. Now you have Balaram give your messages. So that was why Balaram this time delivered all the messages. And this time, they couldn't call him a liar because it was the first time he said it. So therefore, they believed him, and they lived just waiting for that time when Balaram's promises would come true. And Kṛṣṇa, now we're reading the pastimes in the Srimad Bhagavatam about the airplane and how Kṛṣṇa is still very much engaged in killing the demons. Soon, the Dantavakra, he will be killed. And Dantavakra and Viduratha, they're the last demons that are killed in the Dwarka Leela. And then Kṛṣṇa is able to return to Mathura, because he kills Dantavakra right at the premises, the outer skirts of Braja. Now the last demon, when Kṛṣṇa killed Aristasura on this night, Narada Muni, who takes the greatest pleasure in watching Kṛṣṇa's pastimes, he could understand that this pastime of killing Aristasura was more or less the winding up of Kṛṣṇa's Braja Leela. So it was at this time, after this night, that Narada Muni went to Kamsa and told him the truth. He said to Kamsa, actually, Devaki gave birth to a daughter. No, Devaki gave birth to Kṛṣṇa. Vasudeva took Kṛṣṇa and switched Kṛṣṇa with the daughter. Devaki did not give birth to a daughter, as you were made to believe. Also, Balaram He is the son as well of Vasudeva. And they're both being hidden in the home of Nanda Maharaj. And it's these two young boys who have killed all of your men. So when Narada Muni explained this to Kamsa, it was at that time that Kamsa called all of his demoniac ministers and made an insidious plan to invite these two boys. He sent their car, he sent their driver, he told them there was going to be a big festival. You come, see the big Dhanush Yagya. And he thought that he was going to be able to kill Kṛṣṇa and Balaram in that Dhanush Yagya. Instead, we all know what happened. So this time is such a wonderful day and night for us to remember all of the different pastimes that took place on this day and this night, and immerse ourselves in loving Kṛṣṇa and Balaram, in remembering their pastimes, and to pray to become members of their entourage and take part in their pastimes as well. So if there are any questions, this is also considered the day that Hanuman took birth. This is also considered a day when Chitragupta, he's keeping a note of all of our sinful activities. It's a day when people worship Chitragupta, this Chaitra Purnima, and they beg him for forgiveness. Please take mercy on us. Put in a good word with your brother Yamaraj to forgive us. So it's a very nice day for the devotees to remember the pastimes of the Lord and all of his associates. Any questions? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for such an incredible description. So you had mentioned Balaram is very proper the way he does things. Kṛṣṇa his character is different. I'm wondering, in his incarnation as Nityananda, he's known as Avadut. So he's not very proper at all. I'm wondering if you could make any comment about that.
Yes. The comment is, when Balaram came out of the Jamuna after swimming, and he wanted to change his clothes, his consort Kanti came. Kanti is the consort of Shankarshan. She's a goddess of fortune. And she brought him the same decorations that Nityananda Prabhu also wears. She brought him one gold earring studded with diamonds. She brought him blue clothing. And she described that you are Nityananda, that means you give eternal pleasure to everyone. So, in the form of Nityananda, he's the most merciful incarnation of the Lord. He is ready to forgive everyone. He is ready to make everyone into a devotee, regardless of the most heinous activities that they've performed, such as Jaghai and Madhai. He is more merciful even than Lord Chaitanya, because he begged Lord Chaitanya that you've come here to deliver the fallen souls. These are the most fallen. Please be merciful to them. So over and above moral etiquette, Nityananda Prabhu is the most merciful. He has the most magnanimous personality, because he is willing to forego all rules and regulations just to uplift the fallen souls. Okay, that's as much as I understand.
Very nice, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Jai.
Thank you, Mataji.
Turn it on.
I just need to know, when Lord Balaram visited the Braj, what was the reaction of Radharani was she aware that Lord Balram has come to Braj? And what was her reaction?
Yes, that's a good question. When Balaram went to see the gopis, they were all there, and Balaram explained to them, because normally the brother-in-law never takes part in he's the jet, he's the bigger brother. He never takes part in the younger brother's marital relations. But because he had the messages for the gopis, he was obligated to meet with them. And he explained to them, because they were in a bit of a maddened condition, having suffered so many years separation from Kṛṣṇa. You can imagine 19 years about Kṛṣṇa was in Mathura, now another years at least he had gone to Dwarka. You add that up, that's at 35 years already. They had been suffering just waiting for Kṛṣṇa to come back. So Balaram, although he would never take part in the pastimes with Kṛṣṇa and his beloveds, he went to them on behalf of Kṛṣṇa to console them, to give some conciliation to them. And he explains to them, to the gopis, that I see you just like my own daughters, because I'm the big brother of Kṛṣṇa. And I love you just like my daughters. And therefore I want to alleviate your pain. And therefore I'm overstepping, coming to you just to give you these messages so that you can be assured that Kṛṣṇa has not forgotten you. Kṛṣṇa is crying to come back to Braja. He promises he will come back as soon as he's killed all of the demons. And you can believe this because I have personally come to tell you this. So therefore, even as the elder brother, he was willing to overstep that etiquette in order to give these important messages to Kṛṣṇa's beloveds, including Srimati Radharani. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. All right. No more questions then? Yes, Prabhu?
So Balaram was enjoying just with his own gopis, right?
Yes.
Not with the other gopis.
No.
Right. So,
But they were enjoying knowing that Balaram was satisfying all of his gopis and the younger gopis. So they were satisfied in that way.
okay. Thank you.
Okay? Later, when Kṛṣṇa and Balaram return after Dantavakra is killed, they do all marry properly all of their gopis. And then they go back to Godhead, according to Jiva Goswami. And even the gopis ask, well, why isn't this mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam? So then Purnamasi, she describes in other Puranas where it's mentioned. Yes. Finished? All right. All glories to Śrīla Prabhupāda. Hare Krishna.